Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from the Customer. In today's episode, Internet provider customer service rep wanted to be on the phone call with me while my sister was having a medical crisis and be involved in the conversation. Dude. Maybe try treating people like they're people. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Internet provider customer service rep wanted to be on the phone call with me while my sister was having a medical crisis and be involved in the conversation. We use a common internet provider, big American company name. We have internet with them, and my mom called them to upgrade to include cable TV into the plan. She came to a plan agreement with them, and the rep proceeded to pitch the new mobile phone plan that the company is rolling out. After the generic sales pitch, my mom told her that she wasn't interested in switching cell phone providers. The rep wasn't relenting. Finally, after 40 minutes, she talked my mom into maybe we'll think about switching, but let me get my daughter to discuss the plan because she's on the plan too, and is the one who pays the bill. Note, this was all on speakerphone so both my mom and me could hear her, and she could hear us both. Also, my mom is over 70 and knows almost nothing of cell phones, especially smartphones. This is where I came into the conversation. The rep pitched the sales deal to me and rambled off a bunch of junk tier phones at ridiculous prices. I was upfront with her about how those deals were awful, and we weren't interested in the slightest. She kept pitching more and more info at me. I kept telling her that I'm not interested, and to just process the cable TV part of the deal. She outright refused to process the order for cable upgrades without us agreeing to a phone plan. I told her that if phones were forced as part of the cable package, that we were also no longer interested in adding cable, and to cancel the whole plan. She then hit me with this number. The deal was going perfectly until you showed up. I don't want to do business with you, put your mom back on the phone. I called her on her underhanded and patronizing sales tactic and told her that it wasn't going to work on me. I knew the deal was terrible and not worth it. She began clapping back with rude comments like, I don't understand why you're so against a good deal, you don't know good deals, and please leave so I can talk to your mom alone. She was sensible. I told her I wanted her name so I could report her. She ignored my request and kept on doing her sales pitch of I want what's best for you, I'm not going to give up on you. So eventually, after over an hour of useless banter, I said cancel the whole plan and hung up on her. She called back instantly. The moment my mom answered the phone, she said, let me give you my number in case we get disconnected again. I grabbed the phone and said we didn't disconnect. I hung up, goodbye, and hung up again. She called back instantly and opened with my number is XXXXXX, and my mom started chewing her out, calling her rude and disrespectful, and that the deal was off. Sales rep lady kept ramping up the please make your daughter leave so I can get you that phone plan you wanted earlier without her interference. I asked her if she worked on commission, she said yes. I told her that we know she's trained to do this for sales and commissions, but she's wasting her time on us that could be better spent on a different customer who potentially was interested. She refused to give up and started her sales pitch again from the F***king beginning. I told mom to hang up, and my mom, in tears, said she'll just call back. I said then block her number. The rep acted like she couldn't hear us and kept asking why we didn't want the phone plan. I asked to speak to a supervisor. Okay, but first, please tell me why. At this point I'm almost in tears and I'm about to go Karen on this idiot. I told her to process our cable bill or shut up. Yes, I actually said this. She acted like I was a nuisance. Sorry, my system is slow and won't process. While we're waiting for it to process the cable deal, let's talk about that phone plan. It was then that my dad walked in the room and said sister's name just said she woke up blind in one eye and needs us to drive her to the ER. The rep lady heard that and my mom said look F***ck the whole deal, we have an emergency, I gotta call my other daughter. Here is it. The most insane thing I've ever heard a sales rep say before. Oh, just put her on a 3-way call with us so we can talk about the phone plan while you talk about her eye. You can stay on the line with me in the ER too. My dad flipped the F*CK out and yelled, "Give me your name. I'm calling your boss. You're holding our phone line hostage, and my daughter can't call us if you keep calling us back every time we hang up." She tried one final time to make the sales pitch before my dad started screaming about canceling even our internet with them and getting authorities involved. She then wordlessly transferred the call to the processing automation line, the thing we'd been waiting for her computer to process for over an hour. We hung up on the automation line, and when we got back from helping my sister, we canceled our entire internet service. I filed a complaint, but because she wouldn't give us her name, they told us it was unlikely they could pinpoint which rep it was. Big ass lie. She was holding us F*King hostage and lying, just to make a F*King sale. I know there's a line between just doing their job the way they were trained and holding someone hostage, and harassing them and breaking laws to up your commission. I stopped pitying her desperation when she belittled me, then I lost respect for her entirely when she suggested we talk phone deals while in the middle of a family emergency, because she didn't want us off the phone until we agreed to her demands. I understand we can block the number, that's not the point. Dude. Maybe try treating people like they're people. So, I had to leave work early today with a migraine, which meant that I already was in a terrible mood. I had to stop at the Mall of Warts to pick up a prescription to hopefully be able to function tomorrow. When I walked into the store, I noticed that nobody was in line for the pharmacy. So I decided to pick up some Halloween candy, and when I walked past again, one man in a motorized grocery cart was making his way up to the front. I really quickly grabbed some protein shakes, and by then one other woman was in line, being helped by the second cashier. Cast. Me. Unnecessarily rude man, URM. Cashier 1, C1. Cashier 2, C2. As soon as C2 was finished ringing up the woman in front of me, she motioned me over. As I'm giving her my personal information to look up my prescription, I become aware that the man at the next register, which is 6 feet from me, is berating C1 for seemingly no reason. I had noticed him briefly before, but hadn't paid much attention. This man was in a motorized shopping cart, was visibly disheveled, and was also speaking on the phone this entire time. Again, the man had been pulling up to the pharmacy counter with absolutely no line just minutes before when I walked past. The man had pulled up his shopping cart so that he's basically perpendicular to the counter, meaning as far away as he could be without having angled himself better. Yes, there was ample room to back up and angle himself better. I missed the part of the transaction where he gave C1 his name and personal information so that she could pull up his prescription. Please note that during this entire conversation, he was also yelling at someone on the phone and/or complaining about the cashier standing a foot and a half from him. C1, sir, please sign for the prescription and to bill your insurance company blah diddy blah blah. URM, straining to reach over the front of the cart to sign the signature pad. Well, I can barely reach this. Harumph harhumph. C1, I'm sorry about that, even though it was totally his fault. I have your prescriptions right here. Your total is $31.70. URM, what? That's totally unacceptable. You must not have run my insurance. This has never cost me more than $3 before. C1, I assure you sir, that we did run your insurance. I know that premiums and prices of things have gone up with the recent. URM, then you should have ran my Medicaid, because then I wouldn't be paying anything. Point of interest, he's right. If he had Medicaid and the pharmacy had processed it, his prescription would have cost him nothing. I used to have Medicaid. But I also have used this pharmacy consistently for the last 6 years. So I can tell you that I have never had them not process my insurance information. They're so good, despite being in a Mall of Warts, that they even updated my insurance when my insurance company changed, without me having to tell them to. Which leads me to believe that this asshat had never told them that he has Medicaid as well. C1, doubling down on her sweetness to the point that it's clear that she literally trying to kill him with kindness, all while he consistently swears and grumbles at her and the person on the phone. Well, I can try running it again. URM, no. That'll take too long. I have somebody waiting for me. This is ridiculous, but I'll just pay it because I need it. Again, he's been here 2.5 minutes total. C1 is in no way inconveniencing him. URM diverts his attention away from C1 to yell even louder at the person on the phone. C2 and I have been trying to conduct our business in totally awkward silence, because every time I say something to her, she can't hear me over the hat. At this point, I make eye contact with C1. She looks desperate to escape this man. Despite wearing a mask, I gave her my best "oh my god I'm so sorry" face. Now typically, I'm a person who will say something to an asshat such as this. But since he wasn't listening to anything the cashier was saying to him, and was constantly diverting his attention from her to talk on the phone, I knew that nothing I said would matter. At all. Finally, he turns his attention back to C1, who has been diligently working away on the computer this whole time with the exception of looking up that once to give me king hell eyes. C1, I rear-end your insurance, and now the total is $3.70. URM, that's king more like it. No thank you. No gee, that was nice of you to do even though I haven't actually been paying attention to you for the last minute and a half. No self-awareness whatsoever. Just total entitlement. So URM goes to pay, still grumbling about how ridiculous this all is, and how unfair it is. Dude, have you met life? It's not king fair. I'm sorry you have to use your king big boy words to communicate with the very kind cashier who's only trying to help you. The computer made a mistake. But instead of being a big boy and asking for what you needed, you decided instead to swear at and berate a young girl for something that was likely totally outside of her control. Finally, their transaction is wrapping up, as is my own. Given the nugget's total lack of self-awareness, I figured that nothing I do would have any impact on him whatsoever, but I came up with an idea. He had to scooter past me to get out of the pharmacy, so I very loudly said to C2. Me, can I give you candy? C2, yes. But it's entirely unnecessary. Me, no it's not. You all have to deal with asshats like that guy all day. I'm going to give you some candy. Please make sure that she gets some, pointing at C1. Because that guy was a nightmare. I never even bothered to turn around to see if he heard me, but it still felt good. C2, suppressing a laugh, thank you, ma'am. I'll make sure that she gets some. I ripped open my large bag of Halloween candy, and dropped a bunch on the counter. Me, please do. I am so sorry that you guys have to put up with stuff like that. C2, thank you for saying that. Me, just the truth. Try to have a good day. Dude. Why do people think it's acceptable to treat other people like this because they work in some sort of service industry? I've had almost every job in the service industry over the course of my life, so I know that I am especially sensitive to this kind of stuff. But I just don't understand why this has become acceptable behavior.